Right, okay, right, I'm back at my garage and ready to install the swing arm. Now, what I've done, just to make things a bit easier, I've bungeed up my suspension and my chain. I've cleaned everything, I've cleaned all the parts up and everything, it's all just ready to go. I've even actually dry run the putting the swing arm in, and to be honest, it's a little bit fiddly, so I've come up with a couple of ideas, and I'm going to show you how I've put it in anyway. But at the moment it's still running the original spacers, which I'm going to swap for Daniel Didalot's spacers, and we'll go from there. Right, okay, bear with me. Right, first of all I'm going to take the original spacers out. The original spacers. I have cleaned all the parts up, so I'm just putting some extra grease. Now, high temperature lithium grease I'm using, and it does say for you know, wheel bearings and obviously this swinging arm bearings. So I'm just going to put plenty in there. These are into the roller bearings. As long as you've got clean fingers. Just put a liberal amount in. I'm also going to put a little bit on the edge, on the surfaces, or the face edges. Now this is really more than anything to stick the spacers while I'm trying to fiddle around trying to get them in. It's not actually lubricating the spacers, but it'll just help them stick a bit better. And it can be wiped off anyway afterwards, but that's what I'm doing anyway. And I don't really notice I've got the sound quality was bad, so I've put made up a little microphone, so hopefully it'll be a bit better this time. I've done a few tests and it seems to be a bit better, and I've switched the radio off as well, which I don't like, to be quite honest. Right, so number 3, I'll start with number 4. Now what, number 3. I hope you can see all this. The snag I found, actually, it's very, very tight in here, and these spacers, I think as I mentioned on a previous video, they actually are in a slightly different position. Funnily enough, they're in a better position than the original spacers. But I do feel that one of the reasons they may have been left out is because they're so difficult to get in. And it's just easier leaving them out if you're on a production line. I don't know whether that's true, but right, anyway. But these do fit better. Right, what I found was that the original, the suspension or swinging arm pin that runs through tightens onto these inner bearings, but it also squeezes the frame. So when we put the new spacers on, the frame's a bit tight. So what I've done, if I put, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll show you on my phone. So I'll keep taking the video, but I'll insert things. What I've done is just got a nut and bolt, and I put it into where the suspension gap is between the frame and the engine. If you can see that, I've got a nut and bolt. I put the nut and bolt into the engine mount, and I tighten it up like that, so it's just in there like that. A couple of spanners. And just tighten it a bit. Now this will just open the frame out away from the engine. Just a fraction, just enough. Yeah, just enough to give it a little bit more distance in there where the new spaces are going. And it probably would have been wide enough at the factory. It's just that once it's torqued up, the swinging arm pins torqued up, it will nip it all in. Right, okay, so that's that sorted out. Right, so the next thing to do is, what I'm going to do is lift the swinging arm into position. Now, what I did this on both sides, and just don't go too mad, but just long as it eases the frame away from the engine mounts just a little bit. I'll do it here. Just getting a big lump of wood just to raise the back up a little bit. Now the spacers and the bearings are stuck in with the grease. Make sure my chain goes over the swinging arm fork, and then just rest it in the top. Just resting it in the top, just above where the bearings go. Right, so that's rested in. There we go. Take a hammer or a piece of wood or something, drop it down the back between the frame, and just start easing the the swinging arm into. There we go. It should go in. Right, it's just starting. Now what we're going to do is use something else just to pack it up a little bit more. I'm just getting it onto the swinging arm itself. I can see one side going in, keep checking it. And then the other side. Get this lining up. Right, it looks like it's going in. Yeah, that's gone in. Right. That was a manual adjustment. There we go. That's it. And I'll just check the alignment and make sure it's in the hole. Yep, it's lined up. What I'm going to do is just stuff a screwdriver in from now, both sides, just to hold it. I'll stop it popping out again. And then I'm just trying just to make sure the holes are lined up perfectly, which they are. So now I'm going to put a bit of grease on here. That'll help it. Just help it slide in a little bit better. Right, just a little tap. Right, Hope you're getting all this. I think that's it. So there's no play, it's all in. I think we're on a winner. See, managed to get that in there, and hopefully you'll be able to see that. There's no movement anymore. Right, okay, we've got swinging arm in. I'll just put the nut and bolt on. Now I will be talking everything up, but just for this video I'll just put things in untorqued. Now, right, I can check the swinging arm now, and there's no movement whatsoever. It's free to go up and down, but it's nipped quite nicely side to side, and I haven't torqued the spindle up yet, so that's fine. So I can move this plank and I can put it all back together. Right, where should we go first? Right, suspension. Use some grease. Might as well grease it up while you can. The manufacturers don't, but it all helps to protect it against the winter elements. Oh yeah, that's bang on. That's perfect. Right, next thing. One thing I will say about these Nudas, they're a doddle to work on. I think the design's fantastic. I would even go to say that even if you're not that skilled, you'll be able to do jobs like this in the spanner department. Right, okay, so we'll put the wheel on next. Sprocket wheel. Right, I think that's about it. everything's on that's going on. Now there's no movement. Great. Well done that man. So I just want a big thank you to Daniel. Did a lot for sending me the spacers in double quick time, and I'm pleased I've got it done now. Hopefully going around corners won't be as hairy as it was. Looking forward to it. Now, as you possibly can see, I've put the original exhaust back on. There's something else I wanted to say about that, is I've got two other exhausts, both aftermarket exhausts, and the bike's running quite lean, and so I've put this back, and I'm just going to run it for a while, maybe a couple of thousand miles with the original exhaust on, just to see what actually happens, and see if it seems to be, the back pressure seems to be a bit better, it seems to be a bit smoother, but then again it's supposed to be designed like that, isn't it? And the strangest thing is people say, oh okay, you can have them remapped, or you can do this, you can do that, you can add power commanders, you can do all. At the end of the day, surely the whole point of having lambda sensors and air intake, cooling sense, temperature sensors and that, is so that when the fuel burns and it comes out, no matter what exhaust you've got, it should be able to adjust itself. So I don't know what's going on, whether it's just a range of adjustment. It's a bit narrow, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. But that's it. Time to pack away, pack all my tools away.